Hi everyone, and today for my third and final framework of the semester, I will be talking about adult improvisation. So again, here's a brief presentation overview. I'm going to talk about what adult improv is, what are the states of the client goals, settings in which adult improvisation can be implemented in, the procedure of treatment, the role of the therapist, states of dysfunction and function, focus of the intervention, as well as the empty action, and any references that I used. And questions, feel free to post in the Dropbox little link thing that was created in Moodle. So what is adult improv? It is based, according to Gillian Stevens, as mentioned by Mr. Kenneth Brusha, it is an approach to psychotherapy. And this approach leans towards working with adults. However, it has the flexibility to be used with a very wide variety of different client populations. It is regarded as a unique way of enabling the client to experience him or herself more fully, and to explore problematic material, to develop interpersonal relationships. And they are seen as revealing both actual and symbolic aspects of interaction. A little more about it. It can be implemented with a variety of adult clients, especially those who are verbal and nonverbal. The client that I chose for my chart, who I'll mention later, I said that he is verbal. This approach utilizes the full capacities of each client for expression, verbalization, and any insight at whatever levels they are developed. It has been used with institutionalized psychiatric adults, verbal adults living in the community who are capable of insight, as well as emotionally disturbed teenagers. And adult improv may also be applied to physical disabled adults and hospitalized medical patients. And that is the client that I chose for my chart, is a client that is verbal and is hospitalized who is struggling with depression. The different states of the clients. Clients don't need to have any musical skills when participating in adult improvisation, yet a basic understanding of spoken language is generally assumed so they can read the instructions by the therapist. And clients don't need to speak or use language expressively. However, when they are able to verbalize their experience in the moment, more material is available for therapeutic exploration, according to Mr. Brusha. And the experience may be enhanced if clients have the symbolic abilities to make connections between the music and their emotional lives, yet it may be developed as the client works with the therapist in improvisation. So everything's not going to happen right away, but potentially over time. So client goals. So for adult psychiatric patients, it is to develop strength, increase awareness of self and others, improve communication skills, socialization, work toward recognition of feelings, and to enhance self-expression, to provide a place where the client can ventilate feelings constructively, and help the clients deal with problems of daily life in the institution. And then we also see goals for verbal adults who are capable of insight, to increase self-awareness and self-understanding, work through past issues which limit present functioning, which I personally feel like that's a big goal, unblock self-expression, expand coping skills, nurture creativity in their lives, and uncover their own self-healing capacities. Some settings in which adult improv can be implemented. It can be implemented in both group and individual settings, not one or the other. Placement is obviously based on the needs of the client. And session lengths, well, individual sessions in private practices are typically 15 minutes weekly, and individual sessions in institutional practice are 20 to 30 minutes long, held once or twice a week, depending on the client. So the treatment procedure, Brusha noted in the text that there are 4 progressions that can be used to process thematic material, and these progressions involve going between music and words and linking the experiences together so that the various combinations and sequences of discussion and improvisations can be achieved. And these 4 progressions include verbal to verbal, which verbally just words exclusively. Verbal to music, verbalization by the client or therapist, to improvisations by either or. Musical to musical, it is just enhanced in the silence following improvisation, the reaction, what happened post. Musical to verbal, a musical improvisation followed by a verbal discussion, which I really like that one, personally. So what is the therapist doing, and what is their role? Well, the therapist serves as an initiator, and by that they lead, stimulate, activate, and take different roles with the client or group. Their role as a supporter, the therapist mirrors the client's music, reflects the client's feelings, and contributes his or her energy toward a common goal or goals. Serving as a guide, the therapist focuses on certain issues, emphasizes certain elements of the music or words, and encourages movement in certain directions, and provides feedback, which is very helpful. So basing off of my chart, so the client's state of dysfunction, I said that he is verbal, is able to comprehend. However, the client always has a negative outlook on life, tends to always be anxious, and even shakes when they are under a lot of pressure. State of function, what we hope the client will be, is that the client will have a more positive outlook on their surroundings. So what we want to focus the intervention around is that the client will identify something positive that happened to them during the day 3 times for a total of 2 consecutive sessions. And another one, the client will identify something positive that they did during the session 2 times for 3 consecutive sessions. And that can be ranged widely. It could be that they held the door for the therapist as they entered the room. They asked a polite question, a little broad, but to stimulate the client positively, this helps. So the music therapy action. So prior to implementing, the music therapist will ask the client how they've been, just kind of a little catching up, a discussion. Brusha said in the text that it's always good to start with some discussion just to see how the client or group is doing and if there's anything the therapist might need to know. The music therapist should have some tone bars set up so that the client can improvise, because if there's no improv, then there's no adult improvisation. The MT will implement the musical to verbal progression so that the client and music therapist can discuss after playing the music, because I feel that the discussion is very important, and this discussion may deal with moods, feelings, imagery that may have been aroused during the session or intervention, musical aspects of the improvisation, interpersonal dynamics, or solutions that may have been discovered that weren't actually there before. Surprisingly, I only had 2 references for this framework. I can't believe it, but Kenneth Brusha really helped me with this framework, and I know I told a couple of you that, but I'm still a little surprised, and it was really good. I really like this framework. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it really gave me a good outlook. So, well, thank you everybody for listening. We're almost there. Week and a half left. You can do it. Believe. Until next time.